Commencing recording of the TOES matrix part. Okay, so we had labeled down all of the strengths and weaknesses for a fast food company coming from Pakistan and wants to enter the French market. We're gonna no, sorry. I'm gonna record all of this again, and if you wish to leave, you're fine. If you wish to stay, that's fine too. But I'm gonna revise what I missed out on the recording because I forgot. I need to put like a post-it over here to remember every time. So that being said, what we have to do, and there's an article that I shared recently as well. It's also on the chat. And let me go back and paste that article if I can see it. Mind tools. Yeah. Please do me the big favor of reading this article again on the how we enumerate our strategic options. So what we try to do is combine internal factors, which are our strengths and weaknesses. These are strengths, and our weakness are internal factors, which we have already enumerated. We found 3 strengths for our brand and 2 weaknesses. And from the PESTEL analysis and the Porter's 5 forces, we basically, what we did right over here, we enumerated our options and threats. Okay, and then what we do, we add 4 more boxes on the side. These boxes represent the combination of internal factors with the external ones. Strength being internal combined with opportunities. Strength being internal combined with threats, external. Same with weaknesses plus opportunity and weakness plus threats. So over these, oh wait, my son's shouting. Oh, chewing for my kids. All right, come back here. So strength plus opportunity means strategies are used to maximize the opportunity with the strengths that we already have. And I've described strengths very carefully already. Same part. We can use multiple strength. We can use one. We can use multiples, 1 or 2 or 3. Combine it with either one opportunity or both. Okay, or more than one opportunity to highlight a strategic option, which is very objective. Okay, remember we have the objectivity labeled here. Do not enumerate any strategic options without mentioning the elements that you're combining. Okay, it's like you're a wizard. If you're going to create alchemy, you need to know if you're going to create gold, you need to have lead. That's alchemy. Leviosa. How many of you guys watch Harry Potter? I have never seen Harry Potter. I've never read the book. I'm not even a fan. I know this might piss people off too. I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is OG. I'm not a big fan of Harry Potter. This might offend some people. It does actually. Oh, you never watched Harry Potter? I'm like, wow, did I commit a crime? Then comes strengths plus threats. The same thing is that you use your strength to counter a threat. If you're very good at something, threats can be eliminated very quickly and should be done, but you don't have to use that option, but you must enumerate that option to combine a strength to overcome a threat, okay? The next one is weaknesses. Now, you may be weak in certain divisions, like over here, you have poor understanding of the French market, but there's an opportunity out there, like this one. Market is open-minded about Indian food. So even though you don't know too much about the market, here's an opportunity for you to capitalize on. So strategize and minimize your weakness, meaning starve your weakness, but takes advantage of the current trend in the market. So you use the forces from the external part, from your pestel, that can help you build your business in another country. The last one is the most difficult. How do you subsidize and discount your weakness and threats altogether? Do you even address this? Remember, threats are external factors and they come from the market stimulus, meaning you have no control over certain conditions like the weather, like the political issues or the economic conditions. There's things you cannot control, but maybe competition you can. But either ways, the threats will be imminent, and there has to be some way that you have to subsidize them along with the weakness. So you have certain weaknesses such as poor understanding of the market, and there's another threat over here like high rate of taxes on consumer goods. So moving ahead, what I did was I created some strategies for you guys, okay, and I enumerated them just to make this a little bigger. All right. I'm going to remove this part. So I want to highlight this a bit. Make this bigger as well. Sorry. 16. Yeah, 16 is good. 16 again. Yeah. So, and I asked you guys to do this part on your own, the exercise. I don't know if I'm getting any message. You're living under the rock. The rock isn't like Dwayne Johnson. And Harry Potter sucks. Okay, I saw part 1. I was halfway through and I fell asleep like multiple times. It sucks. It's a fantasy for children. Oh my God, you suck. Okay. That was. See, I told you, people get so offended. I'm just joking. I don't like Harry Potter because I think it's not. What's the word? Not violent enough. Not dark enough like Lord of the Rings. Man, Lord of the Rings is dark shit. But The Hobbit was the franchise that destroyed Lord of the Rings. But in terms of fantasy, I could never, I think, get into it because it came out at the same time as Lord of the Rings, and do you know, like Daniel Radcliffe and Elijah Wood, people would even confuse them for being the same actors, or I would say even being the same people. But Lord of the Rings at the time was heavily focused on the original books and the lore that was created, so it had more going for it. And Harry Potter was very new and is still building its franchise and its lore. So people are now they're writing about the Fantastic Beasts, which is not working out well. So the prequels that they're making is a bit like how Star Wars suffered. This is how I feel. It's also a franchise issue. I mean, if you're interested in business and launching a franchise, you should never milk your cash cow that much. Hold on, my son is crying. I don't say I prefer Lord of the Rings, but I think it's better than Harry Potter for me. Why is my child crying? I think my son is suffering from cabin fever. No, my son needs a slap. He'll be fine. He's just throwing a tantrum. He's staying at home. He wants his way. He wants to play video games. He wants to watch cartoons all the time. But it's a school day, so he has to concentrate on the activities given to him. And then afterwards, it's still sunny, but it's cold. We'll put a jacket on him and tell him to go out and play in the backyard. Next time I should slap you too, just for fun. This is our way of handling things. No, I went and hugged my son, and I said, "What's wrong?" And he just went on crying, and then he's fine. Now he's playing with his toys. See, kids are okay. Anyways, developed the first strategy was when I was developing it. Hold on. I combined these elements. Opportunity number 1 and strength 1 and 3. Strength 1 was knowledge of fast food retail franchising and a positive brand image combined with a market which is open-minded about Indian food. So I elucidated my point saying using our process knowledge and positive image, we can enter the French market as they're receptive to Indian food, and I call this focus on branding. That's my strategic option. Make sense? I hope so. But then I can elucidate this point further when I'm building my marketing plan or my international business plan. The second one was strength 1 and 2. Strength 1 was, once again, knowledge of fast food retail franchising, that's process, and my product portfolio is very profitable. Combined with opportunity 2, people are very tech savvy. So I can use app technology like Uber Eats to sell my product, while Ghost Kitchens like Food Cherry, Fristy, and Chefing. Okay, this could be an idea too. So over here, my focus is heavily on sales, but not on branding. It's one of the strategic options that I enumerated for strength and opportunities. Once again, you see the objectivity here. I use strength and opportunity as my first priority, and then when I build a strategy, I labeled it according to I would say, a business department, branding, sales, cost, whatever it could be. Anyways, my daughter just mentioned she's working online. She discovered emojis, and I'm like, I also have to put parental locks on all the apps and everything. I'm very, very careful how kids use. Even though I'm a tech guy, I don't allow my kids to use apps and all those things without supervision at all. No YouTube allowed. YouTube is cancerous for children. And in France, the doctors say all children below the age of 3 should not be in front of a screen at all, and all children below the age of 7 should not be allowed too much screen time because it deteriorates the development of the brain. And I think they're going to be passing a law within an year or two that forbids parents to even show television or tablet time to children below the age of 3, because it also, if you watch this channel called Baby TV in France, at the bottom it says not for children below the age of 3 because of epilepsy as well. When you launch your PS4, some mentions you can have seizures or epileptical seizures, so you have to consult your doctor. This is, especially in Europe, this is a big deal, because you can get sued as well. You can look up what you call it, Pokemon and epilepsy. Epilepsy. I don't know the spelling of epilepsy. All this, yeah. Here we go. Epilepsy. Yeah, that's the spelling. You can look that up and you'll find out in Japan it actually happens. Some children suffer from epileptic seizures from one episode. Man, if you are epileptic, do not watch it, okay? They were constantly showing red colors like a flash, and then all of a sudden some kids were reported they were taken to the hospital. Anyways, then I'm using strength and threats. Moving on to the second portion that I can elucidate upon, I use strength number 3 to counter a threat number 1. My threat was high rate of taxes on consumer goods, and my strength number 3 was positive brand image. So I can use premium prices on my products to keep my brand attractive, which is called using brand power for pricing. This is more of a focus on cost. I'll write this here, in fact. Focus on cost. The economic department or costing department. This was financial attribute. I have sales, branding, finance. Okay. Moving on, another one, weakness plus opportunity. How can I use an opportunity to subsidize or discount my weakness? So I combine two weaknesses, 1 and 2, which are poor understanding of the French market and no European brand presence, plus opportunity number 1, that the market itself is very open-minded. So I will increase brand exposure by advertising or using advertising messages and capitalize on people's taste towards Indian food. Simple. I'll use the flow of the market. This is using market opportunity. Simple. Okay, what's trending? It's focused heavily on the external factors. I finished the Pokemon a few weeks ago. Man, I love that series. I watched Pokemon so much and I started watching it at the age of like 21. I found it hilarious. I love Team Rocket. Team Rocket, Jesse and James. They are the lifeblood of Pokemon. They're so funny. They are the worst villains ever, but they give life to the whole series. Without them, Pokemon is no fun. But in some, I think PETA tried to attack Pokemon. Okay, tried to ban Pokemon because they said it's Meowth. It's pronounced Meowth. Only Pokemon who can talk. I think there are more Pokemon who can talk, like Mewtwo, and there was another one, but Meowth is hilarious because he fell in love with another Meowth, and he learned to talk, and then it was hilarious. I love that storyline. It's silly, but can you imagine the success Nintendo has with Pokemon and Mario and Legend of Zelda? There's such extreme cash cows for the brand. This is the whole part about, I think every time Nintendo comes out with a new console, they have to have three things: Legend of Zelda, Mario, and a separate thing for Nintendo. For Pokemon. It's such a humongous franchise. I'm super amazed how much money they make out of it. Okay, coming back. We can also talk about these things. And Dragon Ball, of course. Dragon Balls has this fighting game as well. It's if you're interested, you can watch Evo. It's the largest fighting tournament in the world, Evo Japan, and international. Internationally, it's usually in San Francisco, but Japan has a separate one to remain closer to the Asian market because it's difficult for most people to go to the US due to visa issues. So we call this the FGC, Fighting Game Community, or also known as the FGC. And last year, Dragon Ball Fighters, I think, was given the best fighting game award, better than Street Fighter and Tekken. But so I really don't play it, but it's a very combo heavy. Yeah, Dragon Ball is also a franchise that's been out there for so long. I think when you were not even born, the first Dragon Ball series came out, and people still watch that. They watch the recap, and it is hilarious because it has no real story, okay, but people like it, you know. Okay, last one was what you guys did. Weakness plus threats. This is the most difficult thing to do. Trust me on this. It is not easy. First thing to understand is what do you call it? Should we be focusing on our weakness? Because if we want to develop our weakness into a strength, then it can be a whole different process as to doing this exercise. Then we have threats. Threats are constant. Okay, like for example, high rate of subsidies. High rate of taxes, tariffs, quotas, threat from competition, lobbying, political corruption, regime change in a country, weather issues, natural disasters. There can be so many things. Okay. However, how do we develop this? Now, some of you mentioned some really cool stuff. And if I go back, I will actually, what I'll do is make another one and hold on. Move this. I'll take some of what you guys mentioned. The best one was Maria's. Okay, so I'm going to take Maria's concept, and I acknowledge that. M. Mumba. What date is it today? March 2020. Blackboard session. See, I mentioned my source. Aren't you proud, Mumba, that I mentioned my source? Credit where it's due. I think Maria left. She's like, oh, I'm going home. Oh, yes, I am. Give credit where it's due. Always. Always. If you want to be a respectable person in life, give credit where it's due. So Maria combined two weaknesses and both the threats. And she said, form a partnership with local French organic producers who are aware of the French market. Very good. You're not aware of the French market. So go to those licensees or franchisees who have market awareness of the customer, of the suppliers, distributors, retailers, and region-wise. Offer your ingredients and market in a way that helps your local French consumer that you're trusted by the local business. Furthermore, it would reduce your taxes and it's from within France. Very good. Tax reduction too. So it's an overall strategy with producers who have probably worked with similar restaurants. So let's give this strategy a name. What would you call it? I would call it maybe licensing, right? License through franchising. Simple enough. License through franchising. We have a strategy. Enough oral review? It's not that difficult to understand. So she reduced the weaknesses right over here. Weaknesses were poor understanding of the French market, so you're going local. No European brand presence. The local people have brand presence. Threat, high rate of tax on consumer goods. If you open up locally, the government will reduce the taxes on you. Protection against fast food consumptions. The local, the PR agents and your retailers or whatever they are, the partners, they know how to address health issues. You can say the chicken is 100% French controlled. Okay, the vegetables we use are very fresh daily. Okay, fine, that's good enough. We have a calorie counter too. Whatever it is, they know how to address it. Okay, so you can just call this, we'll outsource our weakness too, in a way that like, oh, let someone else handle it and they will develop the brand. Very good, Maria. I think yours deserves a, what do you call it? round of applause that you did a very good job. I'm very proud of you. And I think, and Mario, I know you emailed me as well regarding certain questions. I wish I could answer that next time. But for now, I am closing the session. Do you guys have any questions whatsoever? Because I am super hungry. Hungry. Thank you. If you guys have no questions, you can leave the session. No one's stopping you. I'm actually recapping whatever has happened. But if you have any questions for I'm on tap. And I thank you once again for being present. And we have done the complete TOES matrix. We went from PESTEL analysis to a bit of Porter's 5 forces. Then we did this internal audit, strengths and weaknesses. Then we developed a SWOT, a table, like Victoria said. And then finally, we developed a TOES matrix and we exercised strategic options. So that's a wrap. Thank you very much, everyone. I wish you a very pleasant Monday and hope to see you guys next week online. Okay, so I'm stopping the recording now. And I'll share all the recordings